Hello everybody. So in previous video we understood what FastText is, how is it different from word to wake, and how to do this setup in Jupyter Notebook, or maybe you can say Python on Windows. And we tried using a pre-trained model from the FastText website itself, right? We also learned how to use Git bash to extract the data from ZZ file, right? And then we tried using some of the functions. Now over here we're gonna be using our own data to train our model. How can we do that? So let's have a look on data first of all. So here is the data that we have. Just let me give you a view. So this is IMDb data which I fetched from Kaggle, or maybe it's widely available on Google. You can just check it. I'll also try to upload it on GitHub, or I'll try to give you the link of Kaggle from where I downloaded this data. So in this data they have classified the data in training and test set, but we will be using the whole set of data. Okay, we will do our own classification. This is the serial number which we don't require. What we require is these two columns. So in the label column we have sentiment for negative, whether the review is negative or the positive. This is IMDb reviews and their sentiment of the reviews. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this data to train our model. It has I mean the amount of data is quite significant, right? So in this data, if you see, there are three kind of sentiment: negative, positive, and unsupported. So unsupported one is something which we will not consider in our data, and we will remove that. All right, so let's just go ahead and try to use this data to train our model. So keep in mind that when we do so, we will be utilizing only these two columns, and this is the CSV file. Let's just go ahead and try doing this. Okay, so first, for this, what we first require is having pandas, right? So let's import that. Import pandas as PD. And I would also do one thing so that we will be able to see the whole sentences. When we use pandas, usually we face this kind of challenge when we are not able to see the whole text, right? So for that, in advance I'll set this option. You can also do the similar thing. Okay, now after doing this, I will just import the data. Let's call it pd.read csv. This video is going to be a little longer. Please have patience and be with me. Okay, so we can just import this data from here. This is the location that I have, and over here the file name is going to be imdbmaster.csv here .csv. All right, now when you run this, you are likely to get an error, right? So encoding error, this is something which I have been covering in which I have explained in many of the videos. Here I will not explain it much. I'll just fix that. Okay, so let me just use this code. This is already tried, so I won't waste time in writing that. Okay, and now let's just say df.head1. okay, because this is going to be used, so that's why I'm just putting this one. Let's see, one record only. Okay, so here we got all the columns, but we don't require. What we require is review and label. So let's subset it. I'm just going to say review and let's call it label. All right, and let's just see. All right, we got that. Okay, two columns. Now other thing which we discussed in the beginning is in label we have unsupported tags as well, unsupported sentiment as well, right? So we need to delete them. So first of all, let's just try to see group by what all are the labels that we have available over here, and let's take account of that. Okay, so this is all we have. So what you can do is here itself you can write a query, right? And into that you can say label not equals to unsupported, right? And let's run this. All right, so now we have only two views, sorry, two sentiments. I just hope that it is not confusing to you. Here simply we are picking only those columns which we require while importing the CSV file, and then at the same time we are also putting the filter. Okay, so I just hope that it is clear. Now moving forward, let's go ahead and try our stuffs, right? So df.head, and let's see how the data looks like. So this is how the data is. Now if you see, this would have some special characters, this would have some spaces and all. So what I'm going to do is I'll perform some pre-processing on the data. How can we do that? So for that, let me just take one record first of all to do the pre-processing. Okay, so let's say df.review, and let's take this one, and I'm just going to store it in, let's call it my text. All right, and let's try this. My text, here is what we got, right? Let me just try getting fifth record. All right, this makes much sense. Why? Because we have these special characters. Now let's try to remove these special characters from this particular string. So for that we will use regular expression. If you want to learn about regular expression, I'll give the link into the description section. Please give it a watch. And that's very simple, right? And let's try this. So regular RE module has one function which is called sub, that is nothing but substitution, right? It takes three parameters: pattern, the regular expression pattern which you want to use, then replacement of that, and then the string. So a string that we have is in my text. What is it that you want to change? So let's say I want to change this star, so I will put that star over here. Now instead of star, what is it that you want? I want blank spaces, then I will put that over here, right? So let's just try this. So here, because we want everything, if we want to remove everything other than the words, right? So let's just put that. This is the format. So here I'm just simply going to save everything which is not words. Space also I will remove, and the single quotes also I am trying to, I'll try and remove single quotes as well. Okay, let me try. Yeah, this is done. Okay, now sorry. So this is the pattern here. You don't need to get confused here, nothing. I'm just saying everything which is not a word, just remove that. If there are spaces, remove. I mean, I'm saying keep single space, and I am trying to keep this quotation also. Sometime it happens right, where we require this apostrophe and all, right? So that's why I'm trying to keep that, and I want to replace this with nothing, and my input data is my text. Let's see this. How does it looks like? You see over here, this quotation is available because I wanted to keep this. Now if you see, this is gone, this is gone, all the brackets and other special characters are gone. So this look pretty cool. Now after this, there could be possibility that we have spaces more than once and so on. So what we can do is, let me just say my text equals to this, and again I would say my text equals to my text dot, or let me do this, dot sub, and here what I can do is I'll just put one space. So what I'm saying is this is one space, and plus means how whatever times it has been repeated, all that thing I would like to replace with single space, and my input will be my text. Okay, let's just see, and along with that I also want to convert it into the lowercase. Let's see how does it looks like my text. There seem to be some problem. RE has no. Why did I write some? It should be sub. All right, this looks pretty cool, right? This is exactly what we wanted, right? Now what I'll do is I'll put this into a function, pre-processing, and here I would supply the text. After this I just need to do this, and here I would say return my text. Okay, this looks okay to me, there isn't any challenge. Now let's try to use this function pre-processing, and into this I need to use my text. All right, so we got the error here, we got the error, pre-processing my text referred before assignment. Okay, okay, so here I need to use text and not my text. This is okay. Let me just say text, text, text. Done. You see, this worked, right? Now we need to apply the same thing on this column, on the column of our data. Let me just give you a glimpse of our data, df.head, and let's say 1. So this review which we have over here, on that we need to apply this particular function. Let's create another column which is called processed review. Okay, and here I'm going to say review, and sorry, df review dot map pre-processing. Let's run this. It may take some time, right? So because the data set is huge, so it will take some time to complete this process. Bear with me, I'll pause the video. All right, so looks like this processing is done. Let's just see. All right, so here we have this particular column created, which has the processing performed on it, right? So like you can see here, it was capital letter, here it is small letter, and same way wherever you find some special character, that would have also been removed. So I hope that it is clear to you. The next thing which we're going to do is, so when we do the when we create the input data for FastText, it has a specification. It will always accept the input in this format: label, and here comes the string, input data, etc. Okay, so if you see over here, this is something which will be prefixed. This will be your label, right? The result which you want. So in our case, label is, let's say okay, so not to get confused, this label is default, which we need to use in our data. We by default need to use, and this label is the column name. So this has nothing to do with data, right? This is something which we have to use. Now the value neg you see over here, that is sentiment, which is given in our data. So what we understand is we have to use this particular string, and along with that we have to concatenate this. This is nothing but the final outcome which we want. That's something which we have to concatenate with this. Plus we have to put one space, and then we have to put the input data. So the input data which we have is this, right? So let's just try to create. Let me not confuse you. Let me just show you directly. So here you see, let's call it final data. Okay, let me call it final data, and then over here in this I'm just going to say label, and after that I need to concatenate this df, and so again I would say, not to confuse here, this is the column which I am trying to concatenate with it. Okay, now after this I need to put one space, then again I will concatenate this processed data. Let me just show it to you over here, processed review. All right, so this looks like created. Let's have a look on this. Yes, This is exactly how we want, right? If you see over here, we have label concatenated with the output which we want, then space, and then the input data. Same way we have for each of the rows. Unfortunately, whatever reviews you have at the top, those all are negative only, but the same would have been done for positive ones as well. Now once this is done, the next thing which we need to do is we need to divide this in training and test split. So let's have a look at the shape of this data. The shape of this data is 50,000. Now 50,000 and 4 column. Let me just divide it into train and test split. So if you are following my channel, or if you are watching my videos, or if you have done some other modelings, right, data science model if you have created, you must be knowing that there is something called train test split. So that's exactly what we are going to do over here, and that we can do from sklearn dot model selection. Let it autocomplete, import train test split. All right, now let's create train test. Two data sets I'm going to create over here by using our data set, which is nothing but tf, and test size which I will supply is, let's use 30%. 30% of the data I will keep for testing, and rest I'll keep for training. Okay, let's try to check the shape of both of these two. So using display, at the same time you can see multiple information. Train dot shape. All right, so if you see, in total we had 50,000 records. Now if you see, in training we have 35,000, and in testing we have 15,000. All right. Now we need to export this data in CSV, and then you need to use that into the model. Okay, so let's try that. Train dot to CSV, and into that I'm just going, I have one folder created over here, FastText. Inside that I have this folder. Okay, so I'm just going to use this location to put my data over here, and here I would say train reviews dot CSV, and column which I want to export, the column which we're gonna use as input is this, and this is something which have both of the things. It has labels, no, not this one, sorry. Here we have, let's say, head 1, this final data, this one. Here it has the labels also, and it has the input data as well, right? So this is something which we want to use over here. So that's the column I would like to use. I will export only this column into the data. Now index, whenever you do the export, it by default exports the index values also, which I don't need in my data. In fact, I don't need headers as well, right? So let's call it false. Same thing I want to do for test as well, right? So let's call it test. And I hope you understand where this train and test is coming. We just created this data over here. So let's just do this. All right, so this is exported. Let's go ahead in the data and try to see this. Yeah, we have the data over here. Let's try to have a look on the data. So here I'm just going to open that into the Notepad++. All right, so you see over here we have the positive reviews, and you see everything is in one line. This looks pretty good to use further. Okay, we are all set. Now same way we have the test data as well. The next thing which we need to do is train our model. So I will say my model equals to FastText dot train supervised, because this data is labeled 1, so I will be using train supervised. And in the input, things which I want to use is this data which I just created. All right, there could be a high possibility that you may come up with some more simplest way. So I would be very happy if you put that into the comment section. I'll go through that and I'll definitely like or comment that. Let's just run this. So it will take some time to train this model. Once this is done, then we will do the testing of our model. Until then, I'm going to pause the video. All right, it was a little quick. My model, so my model is trained. Now the advantage with this is the models which you would have created previously, you would first need to train the model, then test it, then do the prediction, and then you will be able to find the precision and recall. But here you can directly do that, right? So all that we need to do is say my model dot test, and into that you supply your test data, which I have over here. I'm just going to supply this and let's just see. All right, so you see over here, this is the result which we got. We are getting precision and recall somewhere 88%, which is good, I would rather say, right? Because our data was also not very balanced. It was 50-50%, right? So I would say it is still good. Again, you can do the balancing of the data and then you can try it again, right? Now next thing, let's try to put our own input. Let's say my model dot predict. Let's try to predict something. Now because we have, this is the movie review, you can also use the same technique to do the text classification or for sentiment analysis. For sure we are doing this. Now let's try to write something. Let's say X loved Y a lot. Okay, let's try to see what we got, right? So you see here it is saying that it's a positive sentiment. Okay, I loved that movie. Let's say I loved that movie. It is still positive. Let's say that movie was pathetic. The movie was pathetic. The movie was pathetic. It is negative, right? So it looks like our model is working fine. Other than this, if you want, I have my Amazon opened. Let's just see. Let's try to do some more prediction. For example, if you want, you can just stop the video because this is done. Now I'm just going to show you some more examples, right? So let's say Amazon.in, I'm going to open, and then let's try to find laptops in all categories, and let's try to pick a review from any of the laptop. Let's try to pick this. And let's try to see whether our model is in accordance with the reviews given over here or it is predicting something else. Let's just see. It is a little slow, please bear with me. I'm just trying to give you some real life example though, so that's the only reason. So you see here we have 3-star, and here it says my laptop keys are interchanged. If I click a star, I get this, and vice versa. So one person found this one, right? Let's just see how does our model works on this. Okay, so for that, what I'll do is, first of all, let me put it this way. Okay, and then this here we can use single line only, right? For now, let's try to run this. It says positive. There could be possibility that my laptop keys are interchanged. If I click a star, I get this, and vice versa. So somehow it is taking it positively. Let's try to find something negative and see if it is working in the same fashion or not. So let's try to take this one and let's try to put it over here and see. Oops, it again says positive. So there seem to be some problem with the model. It doesn't seem to be trained well, or maybe some pre-processing which we did initially, that it worth doing using that again. Haven't used it yet cause of adapter. The power adapter was missing, but still it says positive. 86% positive. How could it be possible? Man, no software works. Let's try this. Oops. Again it says, let me say it's a worst product. It is the worst product. Let's try this now. Then it is saying negative. So I think it requires some more data to do this kind of prediction, because the kind of values which we are getting, that is something which is out of dictionary, I believe. Now let's try to put this. It's completely depending on the amount of data which we have supplied. It is value for money based for education. I mean, you can try multiple from multiple combination. You can try different sort of in a different amount of input data, and then possibly you can train the model, and then you can see the performance, right? You see over here it is saying positive. Same way you can also try to use the this what we call that, movie reviews, and you can put that also, and you can try checking that. Let's try to use any comment from this channel. This is the channel I showed you right previously. See, I was trying this. Here it says positive. So similar fashion, you can, in the same fashion, you can try multiple comments over here, and you can see how does that performs for you. Let me know into the comment section how did it work for you. But overall it seems like working well in accordance with the requirement. Thank you very much for giving it a watch, and I hope you like this video and share with your friend. Thanks once again. Good luck.